Welcome back. So today we're going to be continuing where we left off in Ace of Turnabouts trial. One thing before we start, if you have got any questions that you want me to answer in the video, just let me know. Anything about even Ace Attorney Online itself, but mainly about this case. But without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get back to it. My first ever cross-examination. I better not blow this. The crime. They were playing in a tournament, right? That's right, it was the final round of the night. Okay, interesting. That lines up with what Mr. Wright told me that day. Apparently both were regulars of the club, and presumably both very good at poker. Danny is pretty amazing at it. Do we know who won? The game never finished because... A disagreement? What about? Well, it was... Your Honor, with your permission, I'd like to halt this line of questioning.
Why is that? I'd quite like to know myself.
At this time, Miss Sky is going to tell us about the cause of death. I'd like to save our explanation of the motive for a later testimony.
Well, as long as you'll explain it later, I suppose that's fine. Sykes, your thoughts?
Me, Your Honor? Apollo seems like a pretty organized guy. Maybe he really just wants to wait. Then again, he could be setting up a trap. What should I do? For the heck of it, let's object. I know what this leads to already. Your Honor, I believe we have a right to know the defendant's alleged motive. The defense demands we hear the reason for their fight immediately. Your Honor, the point of testimonies is to testify about specific topics. We're not here to dump the entirety of our theory in one go. If Miss Sykes has questions about the cause of death, she should ask them now. She'll have the full right to ask about the motive when the time comes.
Well, I understand your point. Mr. Justice is right about the topic of this particular testimony. You'll be well within your rights to inquire about the motive soon. The defense's objection is overruled.
Rats. Motive is going to be my best weapon here, I think. The sooner I can attack there, the better. Guess we'll have to take it slowly. Despacito. It was a good objection, Athena. Thanks. It was fun, at least. Yep. Just a bit of fun. We have fun here. Please continue your testimony, Miss Sky. No more fun, please. Where's your proof? What's your proof? Surely you're not just saying that he did it without anything to prove it. Of course not. Like any good scientist, I did a fingerprint test on the bottle. Mr. Wright's fingerprints were upside down on the bottle's neck.
That makes sense. The power of forensics never fails to impress me.
Great stuff, isn't it? Updated? Wait a sec, Athena. Don't worry, I've got this. Your Honor, there's a perfectly valid reason for Mr. Wright's prints on the bottle.
Oh, what would that be?
If Mr. Wright was drinking from the bottle, he'd grab it by the neck. That's the reason his prints are on the bottle. Sound familiar?
That makes sense to me.
Oh, we've got him on the ropes now. Athena's on the case. Trucy? Look over at him. He's totally unfazed. When Polly defended Daddy, he pleaded out a similar contradiction. He must have been prepared.
Mr. Justice, how do you explain this?
The defence has a valid point, Your Honour. But you have to look at the whole picture.
The whole picture?
Consider the fact that the bottle was smashed, Your Honour. From which direction was it smashed?
From the bottom. Ah! If the bottle was smashed from the bottom, it would make sense that Mr. Wright swung it holding the neck.
So similar to Ace of Turnabouts, I'll grant, but has a few key differences like that you'll start to see. My point exactly, Your Honour. That's the power of evidence. If the defendant was just grabbing the bottle by the neck innocuously, then why did it end up smashed from the bottom? Eek. He caught me hook, line, and sinker. How is this case so similar to the one before it? I can confirm that the bottle was smashed at the bottom, Your Honour. That's why the neck was left intact and available for fingerprint analysis. So much for that argument. He's good. Really good. No kidding. How am I ever supposed to beat this guy? Athena's going right into the deep end with this one. All the other people, they get Payne as their first prosecutor. Except me here. She got Edgeworth. But Athena has to deal with Apollo Justice, who actually can win trials. What happened next? And your argument is that Mr. Wright indirectly caused it? That is the prosecution's argument, yes. How do we know the heart attack wasn't natural in nature? Natural in nature. The medical examiner deemed this case a homicide. He believed the blunt force trauma to the head caused the heart attack, and he concluded that the fall was caused by an external factor. How is it possible to know an external factor caused the fall? Well, we can examine the extent of the trauma evident on the victim's head. The ecchymosis and internal hemorrhaging indicated that the trauma was rapid and violent. In layman's terms, he didn't just trip. Something else must have caused the fall. And given the evidence we're presenting today, the external factor must have been the defendant. Okay, well, what do you think about that, Emma? Well, to give you my thoughts on the matter. The prosecution questions the relevancy of this guy's personal opinions. The defense is distracting from the evidence at hand. That may be true, but yeah, I got nothing.
Well, I admire your loyalty to Mr. Wright, Detective. I'm afraid you're here as an expert witness. Let's keep the questions related to her expertise, Miss Sykes. The prosecution's objection is sustained.
Sister laws, that would have been such a good play by me. You got it, Your Honour. Prosecutor actually making good objections? Whoa.
I think that's all we're going to get out of this testimony.
Talk about an airtight testimony. They prepared that one perfectly. This isn't going to be easy. Thank you for your testimony, Miss Guy. Yeah, I get it. Mr. Justice. Your Honour, the defence requests another testimony.
Oh, what about Miss Sykes?
The motive, Your Honour. The prosecution promised we'd hear about Mr. Wright's motive. You pinky sweared. No objections to that, Your Honour. Miss Guy, please tell us about the motive. Yeah, whatever. This isn't the first time Mr. Wright has been accused of murder. It's the 4th time. And people give Myra a bad rap. The most recent time was about 1.5 years ago now, with a victim named Shady Smith. Shady or Shady, I don't know. The victim was carrying a copy of the case file for that incident, AJ1. Is there assertion that Mr. Wright attacked the victim because he was looking into the case?
Interesting. I remember that case quite well. You defended Mr. Wright at that trial, did you not?
That's correct, Your Honour. He was found not guilty. But we believe the defendant feared that the victim could prove his guilt.
Order! Order!
That's ridiculous, Polly. You were the one who proved that Christoph Gavin was the real killer. The testimony speaks for itself, Your Honour. This is wrong and you know it, Apollo. This is based on nothing but your grudge against Mr. Wright. Don't let it get personal. My grudge? Don't be ridiculous. This is misguised testimony. If you disagree with the facts, then argue that in the cross-examination. Alleging foul play on my part is a violation of the court's decorum. I'll show you a violation of my decorum, Buster.
Enough! Settle down, defense. I recognize this is an emotional subject matter, but I will remind you that this is my court. Be civil.
I apologize, Your Honour. I lost my temper. So what? Athena can not get a bit angry, but you'll let someone whip people and throw coffee in order to calm themselves down? But Apollo was stone cold. Just an aching rage in his heart. Still though, this testimony shouldn't be permissible. I move that it be disregarded entirely.
Objection!
Simply because the defense does not like the testimony, Your Honour, does not make it inadmissible.
The prosecution is correct. Motion denied. If you disagree, then the forum is the cross-examination, Miss Sykes. You don't get to skip this. Now, we ready to proceed?
You know this is wrong, Apollo. What the hell is wrong with you anyway? This won't bring Vera back. Ooh. Touchy subject. Trucy, there's tears in her eyes.
That is enough, Miss Wright. Bailiff, please escort the defense co-counsel out of the courtroom. She may return when she calms down.
I'm sorry, Athena. It's okay. Just take a few deep breaths. You'll be okay. Okay. Damn it. He's really made a mess out of me and Trucy here. I need to be strategic about this. There's an obvious contradiction with that theory. Let's start with that. Let's do this. Case file added to the court record. Let's take a little look. Just let you have a little read of that. Yep. Yep. And I might as well show you everything else as well. So we have the crime photo here. Just a photo of the scene that we examined in the investigation. And the autopsy report that we got during this trial. Yep. The coffee order was this. And you've seen the floor plans. The motive. Exactly how many times has he been accused of murder? 4 times, including now. 4 times. Not exactly a good question to ask and get on the record, but it is pretty fun. How many times can a guy be falsely accused? Let's see. I believe he was a college student the first time. Oh, and that one time in elementary school. Elementary school! So, technically 5 if we count this elementary school trial. Talk about unlucky. Sheesh. Can you tell us about the last time he was accused of murder, Emma? Sure thing. Shaddy Smith? What a name. That's right. At the time, Mr. Smith's identity was unknown. Since then, we discovered that the van was actually Trucy's father. Wait. Oh, that's right. Mr. Wright is Trucy's adopted father. So Apollo proved that Christoph Guy murdered Trucy's real father. Talk about an intricate web of events. Web. You'll be seeing that later. And now they think the case is related to?
Tell us more about the connection between this case and that one, Detective.
Well, you see... Do we know why? Presumably, he was looking into the case in his free time. It seems they were trying to meet covertly by meeting in the finals of the tournament. Is that even legal for the Chief Justice to do? We're not here to examine the ethics of the Chief Justice's behaviour. The point is that this gives Mr. Wright a potential motive, backing up our claim that Mr. Wright is the killer. Should I go a bit more passionate on Apollo? I feel like that doesn't really fit this iteration of him. I also don't really feel like shouting this morning.
Well, Walter was a friend of mine. He faced some demons in his time. It's not our place today to examine his record. The prosecution's objection is sustained.
Something about this doesn't sit right with me. I should point out the problem with their theory. Please go on, Miss Sykes. We like to press everything first. It's just what we do. So you're saying that Mr. Wright was trying to keep the victim silent? That doesn't seem like him at all. You're telling me, sister. The evidence points to Mr. Wright as the culprit. If you don't think he's guilty, then you need to prove it, Miss Sykes. Why else do you think we're here? Until then, your personal opinion is irrelevant. Eek.
I understand we're all passionate about this, but the evidence is what matters here. Let's try and stay contained to the facts, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Damn it, how can they possibly think Mr. Wright would do this? Alright, Athena. One step at a time. She's saying that Mr. Wright was afraid of being a murder suspect. But that just doesn't add up, given what we know. There's a particular aspect of criminal law that applies here. What exactly are you thinking, Apollo Justice? You've figured it out yet? It's my first contradiction. Not this one. This one. And present the case file. Because, well, just explain it. There's a huge problem in your theory.
Oh, please elaborate, Miss Sykes.
Take a look at the case file, specifically the first page. I'd like to remind everyone the reason why Mr. Wright is here with us at all today. Because he was found not guilty. And given that, recall one of the legal principles of this country. Mr. Wright had nothing to fear, because he was protected by double jeopardy.
By Jove, you're right, Miss Sykes. I should have known. I was there.
Exactamente, Your Honor. The right of double jeopardy prevents criminal defendants from being retried after found innocent. No matter what the Chief Justice turned up in his investigation, there was nothing he could do against Mr. Wright. Your motive is bunk, Apollo.
Objection!
Go figure. Ms. Sykes is absolutely correct. I am. The defendant couldn't be tried again for the murder of Shady Smith. He's not guilty of that crime. But that doesn't mean he's innocent. Innocent? The opposite of nocent? What do you mean? take a look at the evidence list. What if I were to tell you that one piece of evidence was forged? What? Ooh, yeah.
Mr. Justice, are you telling us that Phoenix Wright forged evidence to prove his innocence?
Rolling bears, Mr. Justice. You were his attorney. Shit's getting real. Das ist Schein, Apollo. Sorry, not really brushed up on my German. The most German I'm exposed to is Rammstein songs, I'm afraid. Mr. Wright was exonerated. You proved that he never forged evidence at all. To be clear, I'm not accusing the defendant of forging evidence. Simply stating the Chief Justice was investigating such a claim. A little bit of legal sort of, I wouldn't say loophole, but legally speaking, yeah. This is purely motive. Motive for an attack. That's the interesting part about Apollo's prosecution style, I think. He likes to use these sort of... He doesn't exploit the law, but he knows the law. He uses the law. Like other prosecutors, like a certain coffee drinker. This guy. The victim was carrying a piece of evidence from that trial. The bloody ace. The bloody ace? This was a crucial piece of evidence to prove Christoph Gavin committed the crime. At the time, Gavin accused Mr. Wright of forging the evidence. The Chief Justice was to confront Mr. Wright about this possibility, and that's a motive to commit the crime. This is baloney. The prosecution's argument is based on pure speculation. You can't allow this to evidence, Your Honour.
I'm sympathetic to your concern, Miss Sykes, but the prosecution has a right to present the evidence, especially since it was found on the victim's fucking corpse. Objection overruled. The ace comes in. The ace of Turnabouts. Roll credits.
Damn it, my goose is cooked. This came entirely out of left field. Is this whole thing just an elaborate ruse? And yet, Apollo... Is it a twinge of regret in your heart? Or maybe... guilt? You did it. Mr. Wright? What is the truth? Somehow... Which is detecting Trucy's heartbeat all the way from the defendant's lobby. Bloody ace added to the court record.
I think it's time we return to the cross-examination.
I like a statement added about what the victim was carrying. Fine by me, Your Honour.
Very well then. Please continue, Detective.
You got it. The victim was carrying the case file, pen and paper, the key, and the bloody ace. That's all. That's that shit. And you're saying he confronted Mr. Wright about the supposed forgery? That's right. If Mr. Wright was afraid of what the Chief Justice might reveal, well, you get the picture. There's no way Mr. Wright forged that evidence. But then why would the Chief Justice have it? Something is fishy here. So we've been through this. And you might have noticed a contradiction on that last statement that got added. And then another interesting contradiction we have. Something found at the crime scene that's been failed to be mentioned here. This. Those aren't the only things the victim was carrying. Take a look at this.
A baggie.
Baggie.
Miss Sykes, did you bring drugs into my courtroom? And you're not sharing them?
Of course not, Your Honour.
You Europeans and your legalized drugs. Oh, it's crazy.
Well, I guess it's a medicine bag. I found it in the victim's body outline.
His heart medicine, perhaps?
That is correct, Your Honour. My bad for not mentioning it. It was his blood pressure medication. It was empty and the toxicology report didn't find any recent traces in his blood. It's likely that he was unable to take his medicine to stave off the onset of cardiac arrest. Doesn't that mean it was his fault?
Objection!
As we've established, the victim entered cardiac arrest because of his fall. His fall was caused by Mr. Wright attacking him with the bottle. We've more than established the elements of voluntary manslaughter.
Well, the prosecution should have mentioned this earlier. I don't think it substantially changes the facts.
He has a point. But something about this seems kind of sus to me. 2020 humor, everyone. Well, this game was made in 2021, but still. Why would his medicine bag be empty? I should keep that in mind. It seems like it could be relevant later. I do believe sus, not pronounced that way, is a word in Spanish as well. I think in my Spanish class people were going a bit mad over that.
Thank you for your testimony, Miss Sky.
No problem, Your Honour. Happy to help. At this time, Your Honour, I'm ready to call our eyewitness.
Objection!
Before we do that, I'd like to call the defendant.
Oh.
I have a number of questions for him, Your Honour. I'd like to ask those before we move on. I'm fine with that, Your Honour. And I suppose it's time to allow Miss Wright back in, no?
Very well then. Mr. Wright will take the stand. Bailiff, please fetch Miss Wright from the lobby.
So, there's another fun fact about the case. When we first released this case, we haven't made as many changes to this as we made to our second case, Web of Turnabouts, but there are a number of changes, and one of them was that little scene with Trucy there, and it will become increasingly apparent why that scene was added and a lot of other stuff was added. It's pretty good foreshadowing. If you've already played the case, you probably don't know what I'm getting at. Morning, Your Honour. Apollo. Athena.
Good morning, Mr. Wright. I must admit I was surprised to see you here again.
In a courtroom or as a defendant?
Both, I suppose.
It seems I'm permanently entwined with the court, Your Honour. I have a number of questions for you, Mr. Wright. I want to know everything you remember. Alright, let's get to it then. I'm really sorry about earlier. It's okay. Just save it for the lobby next time, alright? I will. Trici's heartbeat. Her adrenaline is still spiking. She must have been listening. But what made her so nervous? My testimony. I plead silence. You plead silence?
Well, I can't say I understand. It is his right to do so. You probably should have discussed this with your client beforehand, but I suppose you do only get like one fucking day to investigate.
I welcome the defense to cross-examine me, Your Honour. What the heck is it to cross-examine? This is more like direct examination. If you know what that is. But there's no such thing as that in this series. What would be the point? How typical. I suppose you have the right to cross-examine if you want, Miss Sykes. Though I can't imagine you have much to ask about. Well, I have lots of questions, but I don't know how many he'd even answer. What should I do? I think you know what we do. Pretty sure there's only one point in the series where not cross-examining is the correct answer. Though I do think that part's really well done, because it's a subversion, but yeah, we're cross-examining. I like to cross-examine the witness, Your Honor. Just don't ask me about what.
Well, bizarre as it is, the floor is yours, Miss Sykes. Take it away.
What do I even ask about? There's lots to ask about. What would he answer? I guess there's no sense in wasting the crisis. Maybe he can clear some things up at least? I should ask Mr. Wright to explain this incriminating piece of evidence. What should we ask him about? Let's ask about our attorney's badge, shall we? Mr. Wright, what can you tell me about this piece of evidence? Yeah, I got nothing. I haven't seen one of those in a while. I don't know what that is anymore. Well, that didn't work. Better try that one again. I'm gonna be honest, I'm totally lost. Yeah, this isn't exactly an easy one. I think you just gotta press and try and get something out of him. I just wish you'd be more cooperative. Me too. What's got into you, Mr. Wright? The discord in your voice. It's overwhelming. Talking about something actually relevant. We'll ask him about Le Bloody Ace. Mr. Wright, the victim was carrying this bloody ace. This bloody ace! Apollo was alleging that the Chief Justice accused you of forging it to prove your evidence. To prove your innocence. Is that true? Yikes, the discord in his heart just spiked. I doubt he's going to give me an answer about this. I continue to plead my right to silence. Past is in the past.
Very well. Miss Sykes, please drop this line of questioning.
Looks like we just rammed headfirst into a dead end. I better not ask about this bloody ace again. And now let's ask him about a murder weapon. I have a fairly simple question for you, Mr. Wright. Oh? This bottle. Your fingerprints were found upside down in the neck. Why? Oh, that's easy. Apollo should be able to tell you. We've been over this, Miss Sykes. Of course he's going to claim he grabbed it by the neck. Couldn't have said it better myself, Apollo. I was drinking grape juice throughout our game. Does that answer your question, Athena? I guess so. That was kind of pointless. Hey, Athena? What's up? Doesn't something about that seem off to you? Off? Mr. Wright was drinking grape juice, sir. Is there a problem with Mr. Wright drinking grape juice during the game? There actually is. Matter of fact, something does seem weird. This is the problem with Mr. Wright drinking grape juice during the game. If you notice, coffee order, 2 black coffees. DOS. Something doesn't add up, Mr. Wright. Oh? This is an intervention. Save the humor for later, Wright. Please continue, Miss Sykes. Have a look at this. found this note laying on the table of the crime scene. The initials match the victim's name. 2 black coffees prepared for a round of poker in the private game room. In the private room. 2 black coffees. Why would there be 2 coffees if you were drinking grape juice?
That is strange. Did you drink coffee as well, Mr. Wright?
Why are you laughing? It's not half bad, eh, Apollo?
Yeah.
You make a good point, Miss Sykes. Can you explain the contradiction? It's really not that hard. The chief just has ordered 2 coffees to himself. That makes sense. Black coffee and grape juice does sound like a disgusting combo. Hasn't this all just been a big waste of time? What does it matter that the victim ordered 2 coffees? There was a prosecutor once who ordered 17 coffees every trial. Well, you see, doesn't appear to matter much, does it? Attaboy, Apollo. Christoph will be proud.
Objection!
Ooh. Are we done here? This witness clearly doesn't have anything useful to offer us. I can confirm there were 2 coffees. I have a picture of the table. You can clearly see the 2 coffees on the victim's side. Does that sufficiently answer your question, Miss Sykes? I guess so. Especially as long as you can't give us answers, Mr. Wright. Table photo. Added to the court record. Shows the table. The table photo shows the table.
Well, this has been a tremendous waste of time.
I've always been pretty good at that, to be fair. Like I said, spare us the jokes, Wright. Do they beat the sense of humour out of you in prosecutor school? No, they just teach you to value facts and honesty, not arbitrary trite. I guess they teach you the word trite, too. By the way, Apollo, how's about a sleepover at my place if you lose this thing? I'll bring the pudding. But will you just shut the hell up? Yikes, that's a lot of anger from both of them.
Settle down, both of you. This is a courtroom, not recess.
Forgive me, Your Honour. I shouldn't have lost my cool.
That seems to be a running theme so far. Mr. Wright, you may step down.
Always a pleasure, Your Honour. Good luck, Athena. Lots of jokes, but I know how you really feel. Mr. Wright. I can see right through your sass. See right through you.
I believe you're another witness for us, Mr. Justice.
Yes, Your Honour. An eyewitness to the crime. I did witness the crime. It was an eyewitness to witness. Name and occupation, please. The name's O'Reilly. Oleg O'Reilly. Pleasure to meet you, darling. I work as the barista, not barista, as that is the feminine term, at the Star Strumming Club Poker. I'll make sure not to make that mistake, Mr. O'Reilly. You'll best not make that mistake, pretty boy. I'll eat you alive for breakfast.
Nice to meet you, Mr. O'Reilly.
Oh, please call me Oleg, darling. I simply must be on first name basis with a man with such a handsome beard.
Oh, I like this one already. That's all you have to do to get to suck up to me. Just praise the almighty beard. How come you lawyers never compliment my beard, hmm?
It's a very nice beard, Your Honour. Oh, and you are? Athena Sykes, I'm the defence attorney in this case. Defence attorney, and yet you have the fashion sense of a gnat. You had better watch your step with me, girl. Eat. Sir, yes, sir. What's this guy's problem? Please testify about what you saw, Mr. O'Reilly. I suppose, if I must. I think it's time to put Widget 2.0 to use. With this handy little tool, I can analyze his emotions live as he testifies. I could use to either press him or pinpoint an out-of-place emotion. Here we go, the moment I've been waiting for. Your Honor, I'd like permission to perform therapy on the witness during my cross-examination.
What? Are you going to ask him about his childhood trauma about clowns?
Not exactly, Your Honor. It sounds like you're projecting. I'm a trained psychologist, Your Honor. By looking at the witness's emotions, I can glean key insights about his testimony.
Oh, well, Mr. Justice?
I don't see why not. There's your whole gimmick. I'm curious to see how it works. Alright then, get ready to see the power of psychology. New mechanic time. The game of poker. It was a stormy evening that Phoenix Wright met with Walter Van Cleef for the final poker game. The tensions were high. I dealt the cards to each man, faces stone cold. When the first hand was over, Wright, undefeated champion, lost. His face grew pallid and gaunt. After this, the anger instilled by his loss, he attacked. I'm not sure I follow. I thought the allegation was that Mr. Wright was attacking because of the investigation. The two are not mutually exclusive, Miss Sykes. Perhaps the lost hand was a pretense for the attack. I have no clue what investigation you're speaking of, defense attorney. The two men seem to have had their conversations before I entered the room. Perhaps there was a confrontation beforehand. That is our theory, yes. Interesting. They're saying that Mr. Wright decided to attack after losing the hand. Something seems a little off here. Let's see what I can do. I'm ready to cross-examine you.
You may proceed. But you had better treat my new friend nicely.
You've got it, Your Honor. Yuck. Don't think judges are supposed to make friends with witnesses. I don't think I'm going out on a limb to suggest that. Before we do any pinpointing, let's do some pressing. They were playing in a tournament, right? That's correct, darling. They had fought their way to the top. Two experts looked in battle. A remarkable sight. It's interesting they had to play through the tournament to meet. Because I know Daddy wanted to meet with him anyway. Yeah, that's interesting. Why not just meet without the poker pretense? Either way, the Chief Justice has been pretty good at poker to ensure he'd get to the meeting. Yeah. Please continue, witness. Wait, I'm confused. I thought you were bringing the victim his coffee. I was, dear defense attorney. Wait a sec. Allow me to ask you a question. Why not both? I put the gentleman the coffee, but I was asked to deal the cards as well. Working in the poker club, I have plenty of experience and happily obliged. I see. What happened during the game? Well... Wait, I thought the game didn't finish? It never did. But O'Reilly said Mr. Wright lost. He lost the first hand, darling. They were to play many more hands after that. Alright. I guess the game doesn't end just because one player loses a hand. It's so unlike Daddy to lose that early on. It's really strange. Don't worry, I'll keep my eye out for answers.
What happened next, witness?
Mr. Wright isn't exactly the angry, intimidating type. I don't buy for a second that he'd suddenly get up and attack.
Objection!
The temperament of the defendant isn't the question here. You've known him for, like, 2 days. I guess you are a psychologist. Show me evidence, Miss Sykes. Oh, I think this is a little error we might have to fix. It doesn't automatically skip. I'll go ahead and fix it after I've done recording this. Evidence, huh? What frame's this? Right, just make a note. Evidence, huh? Sure, it'd be nice to have some of that. I maintain that Mr. Wright is innocent, Your Honor. The witness is wrong. You really are insufferable, aren't you, defense attorney? Insufferably awesome, yes.
Well, I appreciate your positivity, Miss Sykes. Evidence would be preferable.
Yeah, I'm working on that one. I have a hard time buying that Daddy could have lost that hand. He almost never loses. Yeah, something smells, that's for sure. Something smells and it's not the butts for once. Time to crack this chicken egg. So, we're not looking for a contradiction as such here. We're looking for an emotion. What is the unaccepted emotion? This emotion doesn't make any sense.
It seems to make perfect sense to me that he would feel that way. Are you trying to invalidate my dear friend's feelings?
Of course not. How incredibly rude, darling. The only emotion you deserve to feel is shame. Yep, that's it. There's a shame overload. Thanks for adding to it, Widget. Let's get back to the testimony, shall we? I'll be trying to show off all the conversations I can. Obviously not the objection conversations where you present the wrong evidence are all the same, but there is a different failed conversation for each of the move matrices, and you don't get penalised. So we have to win anyway. Pretty sure it's this one. There's something on the mood matrix that's pretty notable.
Oh, your therapy thingy?
I will say I did really enjoy making the contradictions around the mood matrix emotions. They will be, well, they'll definitely be in the second case because we've made that one, and they'll definitely be in the finale as well. Really, like, it might be difficult for some people, but I really enjoyed sort of tailoring this part of the case around the emotions. It's very, very fun mechanic. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I really like the mood matrix even in the main series. But this iteration is really good addition. And as I've said in the previous video, it was first introduced in a turnabout called Justice, which was drvonkitty's first case. Well, I think it was his first case that's published, I think, anyway. I might be getting that wrong. But it's definitely his most noteworthy case other than this. Let's get back.
Ooh, your therapy thingy.
That's a bit of an oversimplification, but yes. Well, what is it? I'm talking about Mr. Wright getting angry. The witness was extremely surprised. That doesn't add up.
Objection!
Of course he was surprised. The defendant attacked the victim.
Objection!
But here's the thing, Apollo. The mood matrix is showing surprise on the attack, as we pointed out earlier. I just wanted to show you that, just to make it clear. The way this is working is, he was so obviously you'd be surprised about someone whacking someone with a bottle, smashing the bottle, but you wouldn't necessarily be surprised seeing someone get angry after they lose, because I mean, we all do to a certain extent. Like, we've all had that moment where we've lost and we've got, ugh. But you wouldn't expect someone who's watching to be surprised that that's happening. But also on this description, pallid and gone, classic signs of anger.
But shouldn't Mr. Wright's anger be surprising? I'm certainly surprised you would get that angry.
Of course you're surprised, Your Honor. That's because you know Mr. Wright. But guess who didn't?
Why, that would be the witness.
Exactly my point, Your Honour. The witness doesn't know Mr. Wright personally at all. Sure, we might think that it's surprising that he'd get angry, but the witness has reason to believe that Mr. Wright would get angry. And what evidence do you have of that, Miss Sykes? Consider O'Reilly's testimony. He mentioned one key detail about Mr. Wright.
And what would that be?
The fact that he's an undefeated champion. Trucy is right on the money. O'Reilly had every reason not to be surprised, because why wouldn't the undefeated champion get angry after losing? I suppose Miss Sykes makes a fair point. Witness, why did Wright's anger surprise you? There's a perfectly valid reason for my surprise, dear court. I was surprised because Mr. Wright immediately went to grab the bottle for the attack.
I see. So you weren't surprised at Mr. Wright's anger so much as his immediate move towards violence?
That is correct, darling. I am a man who loves wine and cheese, not war and chaos. This would seem to resolve your problem, no? Yeah, kind of seems like a dead end. I guess so. You should get that statement added to his testimony. You never know what you might turn up. Yeah, true. I like that statement added to the testimony, Your Honour.
Sure, please proceed, Mr. O'Reilly.
Anything for you, handsome fellow. Spare me, please. I was surprised because Wright immediately went for the bottle. You mean the shattered grape juice bottle, yeah? That is correct, dear guy. It was the bottle from which he drank. Right, because the 2 coffees were for the victim. This aligns with our theory that the bottle was the defendant's weapon, further implicating the defendant of the crime. I'd better come up with an argument. Start! You said you were surprised because he went for the bottle? Why? As in, why did that surprise you? How did you know he wasn't just taking a swig? Answer the question, witness. I was surprised because Mr. Wright whacked the victim over the head with it. Imagine being a witness and, preparing your testimony, like, basically lying like all the Ace Attorney witnesses do, and then you see that the defense attorney just casually has emotional superpowers. That's got to be a bit... Look, it's got to throw you off your game a bit.
Order.
Interesting. Is there a problem with that statement? Whether it's the mood matrix or whether it's just Apollo using his bracelet and just staring at you for a while and he's shouting, "Gotcha!" So, is there a problem with that statement? There's a problem or no problema, amigo? There is a problem. An explanation stinks, O'Reilly. Does it, darling? Surely not. It is a bit off, witness. Tell us, Miss Sykes. It's your cross-examination, after all.
I'm afraid you're going to have to fill me in on this one. I don't follow.
It's simple, really. Here's the problem with your claim that Mr. Wright whacked the victim over the head. If we take a look at this, we have blunt force trauma to the skull, but where does that come from? If you read this detail here, he suffered blunt force trauma to the head from a fall. So not from the bottle. So little details, the devil's in the details, you could say. It's an obvious contradiction with what you're saying, O'Reilly. And I think Mr. Justice realised it too. Because he's a smart cookie himself. Let's have a glance at the autopsy. The victim ultimately died of a heart attack, but that heart attack was caused by a fall. Mr. Wright never hit the victim over the head at all. Break down. Break down for me.
Order in the court! I hadn't even realised, but you're right, Miss Sykes. There's no evidence that Mr. Wright ever actually hit the victim. If there was, he'd be on trial for murder.
Indeed, Your Honour. Mr. O'Reilly, you better have a good explanation. I will have one of my witnesses blatantly lying to the court. Explain yourself. My oh my, it seems I've made a grave error. Understatement of the year? For real? I can assure you it is quite simply explained, dear court. I saw Wright swing the bottle at the victim, but he dodged out of the way. Then the victim fell over. He hit his head and promptly died. And that is the order of events. I was simply shocked at Wright shattering the bottle on the table. I suppose that confused me.
That seems to better line up with the facts. In future, try to get it right the first time, witness.
My dearest apologies, sir. It won't happen again. Interesting. I better take a closer look at his emotions. Something tells me he's still not giving us the whole truth. Oh, by the way, that sort of animation that plays, that doesn't seem to work on Chrome. I'm playing this on Firefox right now. I don't normally use Firefox, even though everyone always says it was the best. I do use it for this precisely because of that animation, though. So if you do want to play this case, it's better you play it on Firefox if you want cool animations. Weird, he's not showing any emotional readings at all. I also really love this Mood Matrix music, it's really nice. Something's not right here. This emotion doesn't make any sense. He's not surprised. Why is he not surprised? Just think about your emotional reaction to what you saw doesn't make any sense. Oh, really? Yeah, really. Earlier, when testifying about what you saw, the attack with the bottle surprised you. This time, however, you didn't feel any surprise at all. While I admire your ability to analyse emotions, it doesn't give us any evidence. How do you explain the lack of surprise? He's right. I need to take this one step further. O'Reilly isn't feeling surprised when talking while seeing the victim fall. Why not? Whatever explanation you come up with, you're going to need evidence. Holly's really obsessed with this whole evidence is everything idea. Yeah, I know. As much as I'd like to speculate, I need to look through the court record again. And Apollo's attitude is actually a pretty good subversion to how he is in Apollo Justice, the game, because he uses his bracelet a lot. He uses a lot of tactics which aren't just using the evidence. But now he's 100% focused on the evidence of the trial. And you'll come to see why that's the case. Is there a hint as to why O'Reilly wouldn't be surprised at seeing the victim fall?
Well, Miss Sykes, what's your explanation?
This is why I think O'Reilly wasn't surprised at seeing the victim fall. So he's the real killer, which would be jumping the gun a bit, but it would be pretty funny. He couldn't see, or the victim didn't fall. Well, we know the victim fell, so it would be he couldn't see. And here's my evidence as to why. Now, if you take a little look in the table photo, see there's a candle, and what's happened to that? What's happened to the candle? Let's take a look. Take a look at the photo of the table Apollo presented earlier. Among all the clutter on top of the table, one thing stands out to me. The broken candle.
What's so significant about the broken candle?
I remember one little detail from when Trucy and I poked around the scene. With the door closed, the crime scene was very dark.
Oh, but that would mean...
Since we know they had the door closed and the candle was broken, I suppose that O'Reilly wouldn't have been able to see the victim fall. He's been lying. A witness in an Ace Attorney court lying. How was this possible?
But what does this mean, Miss Sykes?
Well, let me ask you this, Your Honor. If O'Reilly wasn't able to see the victim fall, how is he able to claim he did?
I see. If there really was minimal light in the room,
He shouldn't have had any idea the victim fell over at all. Unless, of course, he was the one who killed the victim. That is how you get to it. So you can't just claim he's the killer right away. You've got to point out the contradiction, then jump on it.
what a preposterous allegation.
Objection!
What a preposterous allegation.
This is a ridiculous and baseless claim. First of all, we have no idea when the candle was damaged. It could have been at any point, even after the victim fell. Further, it was you who mentioned the witness was mistaken about the manner of death. You have no evidence. He's right.
Your assertion, defense attorney, is patently absurd. I am the furthest thing from a murderer. I could not murder a fly.
I still think something smells about what you're saying, O'Reilly. And I'll prove it.
Your Honor, I was holding on to a piece of valuable information. Given that I'm now facing such a ridiculous claim, I suppose I should reveal it. Oh, really? No?
It's about Wright's motive. I have reason to believe that part of Wright's reason to attack.
Was that the victim was cheating.
This is ridiculous, Your Honor. He's deflecting blame off himself. His emotions make no sense given what he's telling us.
Objection!
I want to hear the witness out, Miss Sykes. I don't believe he's lying. Your emotions may be insightful, but they're not evidence. Unless you have any evidence to claim he's the real killer, I suggest you let him testify. What's the thing? Apollo's bracelet, you could say it's the same thing. But, at least in the original Apollo Justice, and I'm pretty sure when he uses it during investigations and Dual Destinies as well, he always presents some kind of piece of evidence after getting a reaction out of the witness. So, it's still evidence-based. I suggest you let him testify. Grr. He's right, but I don't like this one bit. His story is nonsense. His emotions tell us that much. What's my proof?
Very well then, witness, tell us why you believe the victim was cheating.
I did not wish to disparage the dead, but I believe the victim was cheating. He had an ace of spades up his sleeve, you see. Wright must have known that he was being swindled.
An ace up the sleeve, eh? The oldest trick in the book. Sadly, the Chief Justice was not always an honourable man. Ashamed to say, but I suppose it is what it is.
Witness, you need to be honest with us about these things. You cannot withhold this kind of information from us. I apologise, dear sir. I simply did not wish to speak ill of the dead.
Miss Sykes, your cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honour. Cheating afoot. What makes you think that? Well, allow me to explain. Literally or metaphorically? I know the phrase can be generally used for cheating too. I mean literally, dear defense attorney. The victim was literally hiding an ace of spades in his sleeve. Interesting. Could it be? How can you be so sure? I mean, it's not like you're a psychologist or anything. Flex.
Objection!
It's impossible to get into the defendant's head, but if there is evidence to suggest foul play, then we must accept it as part of the ever-growing motive. Seems like baloney to me. Let's see if I can tear this guy a new one. Something's off here for sure. You should point out the problem. Yeah, you got it. Is an ace up the sleeve really as good an explanation as O'Reilly thinks it is? He's just trying to give him as many motives as he can at this point, but we already know what the problem is. He had an ace of spades up his sleeve, you see? Well, he did, but... I'm not sure the ace up the sleeve means what you think it means, witness. As I've said, I mean a literal ace. You are right that the victim had an ace up his sleeve, but not because he was cheating. The ace up his sleeve was the evidence from the past trial. The ace he was confronting Mr. Wright with. What?
Objection!
There's a huge problem with what you're telling us, Miss Sykes. The bloody ace. It simply confirms our motive that the victim confronted the defendant about the allegations. Ugh, he has a point. Now wait just a minute, Athena. Remember what you argued earlier? Huh? Wait. Oh, right. That doesn't make sense, Apollo. If the candle was broken, then how did we see the ace? The lights must have been out.
Objection!
Even if we assume the light was out like you say, a claim for which you have no evidence, we know he must have seen the ace. How do you know he's not lying? Because he knew it was an ace of spades. The only way he could know that is if he saw the card. Damn it, he's countering my every move. I don't know what to do. Athena, you've got this. You're thinking too inside the box. If I really knew that the card was an ace of spades, then that creates a problem, right? Oh, yeah. I have no idea what she's talking about. Oh, yeah.
Well, if Miss Sykes doesn't have anything else to add, then I'm gonna get out of here and go grab something to eat.
Dang, I've got to do something and quick. The prosecution is wrong, Your Honor.
Oh, so?
Mr. Wright didn't attack anyone.
Oh, just, we get it, you're the defense, you're supposed to say that.
It's a bluff, Your Honor. The defense doesn't have anything. There's a huge contradiction with what you're saying, Apollo. Come on, Athena, think. What does it mean if O'Reilly saw that it was an ace of spades?
What's the problem with the witness seeing the ace of spades?
It is the ace of spades itself. Now that I think about it, something's definitely up. Your Honor, I want the court to take a look at the ace itself. You'll notice one thing sticks out like a sore thumb.
You mean the blood?
Yes, Your Honor. Notice where it's located. It's on top of the spade.
Why does that matter? I'm an idiot.
Well, think about what O'Reilly is telling us. Like Apollo said, he must have seen the card because he knew it was an ace of spades. That means he must have seen it before that candle was broken. But he thought the victim was cheating.
Oh, wait a second. But that would mean
O'Reilly couldn't have seen the blood on the card. That is strange. The thought hadn't even crossed my mind. I'm an idiot too. Witness, you must have seen the blood on the card, right? I did not, darling. The truth of the matter is, I heard the victim mention ace of spades. What do you mean you heard it? I heard the two having a heated conversation about the ace. I simply presumed they were arguing about cheating. Maybe they were arguing about which was their favourite 8th tally game. Who knows? That's a load of malarkey, O'Reilly. Earlier today you told us you didn't hear any of their conversation. I was mistaken, dear defense attorney. I heard them when I was in the kitchen.
how is that possible? How could you hear them through solid walls?
Then this is another thing that got added in a later edition because I haven't seen this, but the witness being here, yeah. Their voices were murky, so the only clear phrase I heard was Ace of Spades. Props to drvonkitty for doing all this sort of editing, improving and stuff. I'm sure there'll be a lot to do because if you haven't heard or seen, we're getting so you know how Ace of Turnabouts is already featured, we're trying to get a web of Turnabouts featured, and it's up for a QA review, so there might be some edits that I recommend to be made in order to get it featured on the site. Hopefully we can get it featured on the site because then we get the little star next to it, and when you load the site it's one of the first games you see, so that'd be pretty cool. In the lounge you'll see a large portrait on the wall. It covers a serving window between the room and the kitchen. We rarely utilise it, but players can climb on a stool to get their coffee straight from the kitchen. It allows for a bit of sound to penetrate. That's right, I think Emma mentioned something like that yesterday. The crime photo was updated. I apologise sincerely for my lack of clarity. Truthfully, I did not expect the unsightly yellow-clad defence attorney to cause such a stir. Hey, who are you calling unsightly?
Objection!
The witness's behaviour aside, the entire affair has really just brought us back to the start. The victim confronted the defendant about the bloody ace. The victim confronted the defendant about the bloody ace!
That appears to be the case. Miss Sykes?
I think I really screwed the pooch on this one. I was so desperate to discredit O'Reilly, I managed to back myself into a corner. Your Honour, at this point I don't see much reason to prolong the trial. The witness's testimony backs up our theory the defendant is responsible for the victim's death. All Miss Sykes has done is suggest that Mr. O'Reilly is the real killer, but she has no proof. The evidence points to the defendant. That's all there is to it.
The prosecution makes a strong argument. It really seems like we've just been going in circles. Unless Miss Sykes has something to counter the prosecution's claim.
Come on, Athena. You have to think. Oh no. I was supposed to be over this. I'm not good enough. They're gonna suffer because of me. I'm not cut out for this. All I've done is look like a big, stupid, useless idiot. No, don't worry about it, Athena. That's the judge. He's the one who's been looking like a big, stupid, useless idiot in every case he's in, but... Well, we tried to make him not as bad for this case, I think. But in the main series, yeah, there's definitely some questionable moments from this judge.
Well, if the defence has nothing more to add...
It seems the Wright really did kill the victim. What a shame. The victim was such a nice man. Oh, you big fucking liar. Huh? The noise in his heart, it spiked. I know you're scared, but you can't give up yet. O'Reilly is hiding something. I just know it. Right. My voice is trembling. I must seem like such a big baby to her. You've got this, Thena. She called me Thena. Trucy, she's depending on me. I have to keep going. I have to fight back.
At this time, the proceedings seem to be at a close...
Objection!
Your Honor! Yes? Just breathe, Athena. You're gonna be okay. You can do this. There's something else I need to do before we can end this trial. What is it? O'Reilly's voice is filled with noise. I need a chance to ask him about it. It seems a bit extraneous, but I will stand in the way of the truth. No objections, Your Honor.
Go ahead, defense.
We have an honourable prosecutor. Apologises, maybe because he knows what it's like to be an attorney. When O'Reilly said the victim is nice, the noise in his heart spiked. His voice is filled with fear. Why would O'Reilly feel fear when calling the victim nice? If you take a look at his profile, and this was pointed out to us by, I think Emma said this. The Chief Justice is known for having a bit of a anger problem. So, this is what we present. Oh, I think I know what's up. Yesterday Emma told us something interesting. Yep. What I can tell you is the guy was a regular here. He loved poker. He'd get furious when he lost. Bit of an anger problem, huh? No kidding. He had a reputation. Maybe O'Reilly is lying about the victim being nice. Because in reality, he got angry. But what did he do to make O'Reilly so terrified? I wonder. There's not one piece of evidence that needs an explanation. Could it be? Could this have something to do with what the victim did to scare O'Reilly so badly? I think I have a good idea. At least it's a theory I can run with and keep things going. Just a theory. Your Honor?
What is it, Miss Sykes?
The defense has an alternative theory to the one presented by the prosecution. If you're going to suggest someone else attacked the victim, you better have evidence. Good thing that's not what I'm suggesting. No, my theory is that someone else used the bottle, but it wasn't the victim they were attacking.
Huh? But that doesn't make any sense. Is there a different victim in this case? If so, I'm very lost.
There is a different victim, yes, but not a dead one. The defense proposes that the victim attacked O'Reilly with the bottle.
What? Mr. O'Reilly, is this true?
No, it's poppycock. I know not what the foul lady says. Your heart's reaction suggests otherwise, O'Reilly. Why else would calling the victim nice make you feel fear? I know I'm not usually scared of my nice friends. While you pose an interesting theory, it lacks evidence. I can concede that the victim was known to have an anger problem, and he was wearing gloves, so it isn't impossible that he held the bottle. But what evidence do you have that he would have gotten angry? Something must have really made him mad if you're suggesting he whacked this witness. Evidence, huh? There has to be some reason the victim would get mad at O'Reilly in particular. What? Maybe O'Reilly made some kind of mistake? A mistake? But what kind of mistake might he have made with the victim?
I'd like to hear your evidence, Miss Sykes. Why did the victim get angry enough to attack this witness?
Now, if you take a look at the coffee order here, it's 2 black coffees paired for our round of poker. And if you take a look in the photo, does it look like black coffee? I don't think so. So, our answer lies on the table, Your Honor.
Oh, whereabouts?
We just do some point and clicking. This part of the table helps explain why the victim got angry. Pointing out these 2 cups. Have a look at the coffees on the table. What do you notice about them?
They appear to have some form of creamer inside.
Yeah, that is correct. So then, tell us, Miss Sykes, why does it matter? Here's why it matters that the victim's coffees were sweetened. We have I'd like to remind the court why Mr. O'Reilly was there in the first place.
He was dealing with the cards, no?
Well, yes, Your Honor. But that's not why he was in there in the first place. He was delivering the victim's coffee. Yes. Do you remember what he ordered, Your Honor?
Why, it was 2 black coffees, right?
No, that's not possible. I made 2 black coffees, I swear it. The evidence suggests otherwise, bucko. We know you ended up unconscious that day, and you've yet to provide us a reason why. Besides, I don't think the witness is lying. But I do think you're onto something here. Can you explain why there's a contradiction? Can I? The coffee order was clearly incorrect. Is it possible that O'Reilly didn't get it wrong? He didn't get it wrong. Well, if we assume the witness is telling the truth, maybe this is how the coffee order got screwed up. No. We have the 2 coffee machines. One is labelled sweet and one is labelled black with peel and stick stickers. I think you can see where this is going. Me and Trucy noticed something when we were investigating the kitchen. There's 2 settings for the coffee machine. Black and sweet.
What a sad way to make coffee.
I'm with you there, Jon, but there's a bigger fish to fry. Each side of the coffee machine was labelled with a peel to stick sticker. So you're suggesting
But the stickers were switched?
I don't know why the judge's voice there. That the stickers were switched? Well, it's not true. Nothing went wrong. I could never make any mistakes like that. Any mistakes, huh? I think I've cracked it. The real reason O'Reilly is hiding the truth. Mr. O'Reilly, this is the real reason you don't want to tell us the victim attacked you, isn't it? It's because of another personal anger problems in this case. One very angry manager, Marianne J. Yesterday, I met with Mr. O'Reilly's manager. Not exactly the most pleasant person I've ever met. Yeah, she's really something. But there's one thing about her that stands out. She's an obsessive perfectionist. Exactly right, Trucy. She's obsessed with perfection. And she gets mad over the smallest mistakes. See, we don't even have to have the mood matrix. Athena is getting the opportunity to show off all her psychological skills. Your Honor, the reason Mr. O'Reilly is hiding the fact that the victim attacked him, the reason he's been lying so much about what really happened, it's because he's afraid of what Marianne J might do to him for screwing up. And I kind of wish the Athena cases were more like this, giving Athena more of a chance to use her psychology other than just for the mood matrix. It's analysing the behaviour of witnesses in the context of the case. I'm sorry.
Mr. O'Reilly, I believe you owe us some answers. What really happened inside that game room?
Very well. I suppose I have no choice.
Showdown time.
Full house. I win right. The game's only just begun.
But that's not why I won, you see. What the hell is wrong with my coffee? You stupid barista. You'll pay for this.
Sir, please wait. He knocked me out cold. I'm sure you'll recognize that cutscene, but that is one of the best intros to a game. I think that's probably my favourite intro in the series. I really like the Rise from the Ashes intro too. I really liked it when they started doing dynamic intros like that. The sort of, they give you hints about things, but they don't spoil the case at all. And you only really understand them once you've played them first. And a fun detail about that intro, not shown in this, but at the very start of it, in Turnabout Trump, it's Drew Misham doing paintings. So that's already foreshadowing case 4 when he's revealed to have painted all of the cases included in that one. Because he signs a painting as his name, so you can tell it's him. That's what really happened.
It breaks my heart to hear this. Simply because you bought in the wrong order?
Yes, I'm afraid so. So did he attack you with the bottle? That's what I thought at the time. But truth be told, I don't know, darling. When he stood, he knocked over and extinguished the candle. Just like I thought. You never actually saw the victim fall, nor his heart attack. I'm afraid so. All I know is Rancune stood, the lights went out, and then so did I. It was not Wright who got angry. It was the victim. That was the real source of your surprise. Indeed.
And you spun this elaborate tale just to hide the fact that he attacked you?
Yes, I suppose I did not think through the consequences. I was so afraid to tell the truth for fear of losing my job. If Miss J were to find out the victim got angry at me for messing up the coffee order, well, without this job, I won't be able to pay for my education. If I'm terminated, then I'll have no choice but to drop out. That's right. This guy isn't even that much older than I am. I know schooling is crazy expensive in this country. So, in order to protect myself, I need to create a different narrative. Yes, that's why I tried to tell the story of Wright attacking the victim. I did not wish to invoke the rage of my angry superior. I am so sorry. My hostility today has been unwarranted. I must admit, I was afraid to tell such a lie. But what's done is done, I suppose. It was never my place to levy a false accusation just to protect my own skin. I am truly ashamed.
Well, it seems this witness has been wholly discredited.
That does seem to be the case, Your Honour. Heck yeah. Score 1 for Team Athena.
While I sympathise with your plight, you will face perjury charges for today, witness.
I suppose it is my lot for lying to you all. Best of luck, Madam Defence Attorney. You truly possess a superior intellect. But thanks. He's been genuine, poor kid. His whole future is probably screwed up now.
Mr. Justice, I would like you to investigate the stickers on the coffee machines. I'm curious if Miss Sykes' hysteria will be confirmed. Until then, both sides had best prepare their arguments. Court is now in recess.
Lobby time. That was tough. You did a great job, Athena. Thanks, Trucy. I like your new nickname, by the way. It is pretty cute, isn't it? Mr. Wright. Hi there, defense team. Mr. Wright, I need answers. You can't just plead silence and leave me hanging out to dry. I'm sorry, Athena. I have some fuzzy memories of someone getting attacked. But the victim, my other daddy, he attacked the witness in Daddy's last trial too. Oh no. You can't sort out the two incidents in your head, can you? It's all just blended together. Every time I hear Apollo object, it's like I'm right back there a year and a half ago. Oh, Mr. Wright. something that hasn't been explored yet is Mr. Wright's own sort of trauma witnessing these murders. Like, all the things he's been through, it's insane. I'm really sorry, guys. I know I've not been very helpful to you. It's okay. I can't blame you for struggling with something like this. Plus, you've done a hell of a job in there, kid. For a first-time rookie up against someone like Apollo Justice, almost anyone else would be dead meat by this point. Thank you. I guess you didn't realise I almost had a nervous breakdown up there. I'm curious what Apollo's next argument will be. Especially now that his star witness has been discredited. Yeah. I have a feeling he's not going to let up. After all, this case is solid even without O'Reilly. Missing a bracket there, I'll go and correct that as well. Mr. Wright, I need you to do your best to remember everything you can. No more pleading silence. I'll try. You deserve that much at least. Thank you. We're entering the end of things now. If I'm gonna save Mr. Wright, I better give it all I've got. Here we go. Breathe in, breathe out. Time to prove Mr. Wright's innocence.
Court is now back in session for the trial of Phoenix Wright. Are both sides prepared to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense is ready to go, Your Honor.
Good. Now, we have few matters to attend. Mr. Justice, your eyewitness has been exposed as a liar. I must admit that makes me skeptical of your case.
I understand that, Your Honor. And I have to apologise. We were mistaken to rely on Mr. O'Reilly's testimony. But even without it, the evidence still points to the defendant's guilt. That's a load of crap. You don't have any eyewitnesses to prove your theory.
Objection!
I don't need any eyewitnesses, Miss Sykes. What? Consider the facts as they stand now, Your Honor. We know the victim knocked Mr. O'Reilly unconscious, but there's no reason to believe he used a bottle to do so. And even if he did, the bottle could have been left intact for Wright to use. If the eyewitness was unconscious, that leaves two people. The victim and the defendant. The door was locked, the serving window was covered by a portrait, and the defendant's fingerprints are on the smashed bottle. So far, the only theory presented by the defense is O'Reilly committed the crime. However, we know the truth behind Mr. O'Reilly's testimony, and that truth is that he's a misguided liar, but not a murderer. As such, the defense's only counter-theory has been discredited. Detective Sky told us that an external factor caused the victim's fall and heart attack. There's no evidence to suggest any other explanation than Wright attacking the victim. He's not wrong. For some reason, the victim fell over and had a heart attack. Something caused him to fall. Or someone. And what else could it be? No one told us natural causes are completely ruled out. I don't know what to argue.
Mr. Justice makes a fair point. What of the coffee machine theory? Will the signal switched?
Yes, Your Honor. Black was labelled sweet and vice versa. But what relevance does that have here? The switch was the reason for the victim to attack, but why does that matter? It's nothing but distraction from the defendant's guilt. Coffee machines were updated.
I can't say I disagree. Besides,
Yikes, Apollo really doesn't let the drama get in the way of his arguments. What am I supposed to do? Athena, you need to think like Daddy. Eh? Whenever Daddy was a lawyer, he'd get in sticky situations all the time. But he'd grab onto one little piece of evidence and roll with it as much as he could. One little piece of evidence, huh?
well, Miss Sykes, can you counter the prosecution's theory?
I'm I've got to think fast. What might the switch stickers mean? How can I use that to further my case that Mr. Wright didn't attack? Your Honor, the defense thinks that the switch stickers suggest a different killer. We're going after the classic third party. In this case, there was a fourth person in the room. That line of thinking will be familiar to anyone who's played Turnabout Trump. They must indicate a different killer, Your Honor. A different killer?
Objection!
More like the Great Phoenix, much like the Great Phoenix right before her, Your Honor. She's bluffing. No, I'm not. Okay, maybe a little. The fact is, Apollo doesn't have any explanation for why they were switched. As long as there's a possibility someone switched them for nefarious purposes, then we need to figure it out before we can end the trial. Très bien, mademoiselle. Oh, parlez-vous français? I took one class in middle school.
I'm skeptical, but I suppose we need to examine all the evidence. Mr. Justice?
I believe I have a witness who can prove no real killer switched them. Your mistake, Miss Sykes. Huh? Wait, you don't mean...
The witness will take the stand.
Y'all better have a fantastic reason why I'm missing work right now.
Well, it is a murder trap.
Shut up, you old coot. I don't care if it's the president of the freaking United States of America. I'm losing money here as we speak about being in this damn corner. So you don't have time. Damn good reason why I'm spending all my time here.
I'm sorry. Please don't take my lunch money.
Hi there, Marianne. It's me, Trucy Wright. We met yesterday? Yeah. The stickers on your coffee machine were switched. We think a nefarious person might have done it. That's why you're here. How the hell did she do that? Finally, someone speaking my language. Now, who's saying someone broke into my kitchen? Miss Sykes. How dare you suggest I make such a rookie mistake, woman? I'll skin you alive. Ahem. Now, if it's a perfect testimony you want, it's a perfect testimony you'll get. Capiche? Let's do this thing. A killer? In my kitchen? It's more likely than you think. No one broke into my kitchen. There's only one way in the kitchen, and O'Reilly has the key. The only person who could have switched the stickers is him. Looks like I'll have to fire the poor sucker.
So the one who messed up the stickers was Mr. O'Reilly. It would appear that his fear of losing his job was not unfounded.
He was a waste of money anyway. As you can see, the defense's third-person theory is ridiculous. There was no one else to commit the crime other than the defendant.
Monsieur, and please don't hurt me for saying this, where were you during the crime?
I was dealing cards with several high-profile businessmen. And no, I didn't switch the stickers. Do you really think I'd do something to hurt my bottom line? Just please don't hurt my bottom line. I've got to think like Mr. Wright. Someone else must have gone in that kitchen. That's what I've got to prove. I do remember finding on Reddit, I believe, someone actually made a meme of this case, and they used that moment here. Where's a killer in my kitchen? That was pretty. That was pretty funny to find. How can you be so sure? Silence, because I run my club perfectly. You think I'd just leave the door unchecked for anyone to waltz on in? No! Yes, ma'am. Mean as she is, she kind of has a point. What do you mean? She was literally guarding the door yesterday. I doubt anyone got in through obvious means. Please continue, witness. You don't have a key? I do not. To keep things perfect and secure, only the barista has free access. It's his job to lock things up at the end of the day. And before you say I know for a fact he always locks it, because I double check. I should have figured. And if the stickers really were switched. Why would he intentionally screw up his job like that? Beats me. Maybe he was cleaning and putting them back on the wrong way. Either way. On the one hand, I hate to think he's getting fired because of me. On the other, he did falsely accuse Mr. Wright of murder. Is there a problem? I guess not.
I suppose it is what it is. Whatever will be, will be.
There's gotta be some holding the testimony. Poe Buddy's perfect. Yeah. But what could it be? There's only one way into the kitchen. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
Objection!
Only one entrance? I beg to differ. How dare you?
What do you mean, Miss Sykes?
Your Honor, there's another way a potential killer could have entered the kitchen. Here's how the killer could have gotten into the kitchen. Through this little wall here. Your Honor, I'd like to remind the court of something O'Reilly told us. Specifically, the way he has heard about the Ace of Spades.
Well, it was in the kitchen. Ugh.
Exactly, Your Honor. The serving window. But how? I'd have known if anyone was in the game room. I would have seen them go in, damn it. That's true. Can you explain how a supposed person could have gotten in without Miss J noticing? I think we can. Think about the circumstances of the crime scene. Circumstances? Maybe... This is how the real killer could have gotten into the kitchen from the game room without her knowing. I'll have to wrap up there in this one. I don't remember what this was. This is how the real killer could have gotten into the kitchen from the game room. Oh yeah, I agree. Of course. I haven't played through this case since the initial play testing for it, like fully all the way through, which was like 3 years ago almost now. So yeah. Even though I made these contradictions for the most part, it takes me a few seconds sometimes. Of course you'd know if someone was in the game room. You'd see them go in. I bet dozens of patrons go in and out. Well, that doesn't mean you'd know if someone had left it. After all, guests who use that room are given this. So how could they have sneaked through the window into the kitchen, you ask? It's simple. The real killer could have locked the door. My perfect record. Damn you, lawyer. Damn you! One testimony is all it takes to break it.
Well, you made quick work of her, Miss Sykes.
All in a day's work, Your Honor. Consider this trial turned about.
Objection!
Miss Sykes, let me ask you this. What exactly have you proven that the killer could have climbed through the serving window?
Objection!
That's not what I'm asking. For your theory to hold water, you need a third party to cause the hot tap. That's the crux of the case. If you can't prove that, you have nothing. But you've proven a method by which the third party could have moved without being noticed. Well, yeah. So let me ask you this. When did all this happen? We know the kitchen was empty because Aurelia just left it. At that point, you and Trucy were in the coffee shop. Wright and the victim were in the game room. And the back door would have been locked. Your argument requires that all this happened long before the death occurred. He's right. Here we get to the crux of the matter.
Mr. Justice has a point. Why does all this matter? Even if someone went through all that effort you described, it couldn't have been during the crime.
All we know for sure is that the coffee stickers were switched. Who switched them? When they were switched? It doesn't matter. Oh no, they're absolutely right. Even if I'm right, the third party couldn't have been there during the crime. No! Oh dear.
Well, it seems we've reached the end. For real this time. While I hate to admit it, the evidence undeniably points to Mr. Wright as the guilty party.
I'm afraid that is the case. Unless the defense has any further evidence to present. I do really like it when I try to make this a point in the cases I work on. The prosecution has to have actual overwhelming evidence that points to the defendant. There's no obvious problems with it. It's not just he did it because he's the only one who did it. There's got to be some actual proof, some actual evidence. And Apollo's built his case really well here. In my opinion anyway. And I do really like those kind of cases, so that's one of my priorities when making the case such because there's got to be a lot of evidence pointing to the defendant so that they can actually turn about the case. It's not really a turnabout if it was just easy, or if the defense was just being stupid for the sake of it. But in this case, we've made sure both sides have a level of competence. Athena and Apollo. Even the judge isn't that bad, really. A little bit dozy sometimes, but that's just him. That's just his personality. No. I've come so far and tried so hard. Not like this. No, please. Freezing up. Can't think.
Well, it appears the defense has nothing further to add.
Tina?
The court finds the defendant, Phoenix Wright.
Your Honor, this trial can't end yet. Mr. Wright? No worries, I got this. Just take a second, alright? Okay.
Objection!
This is absurd. What are you doing, Wright? Helping my new employee. Oh yeah. Just got hired, baby. Let's go. Your new employee? You've done a fantastic job, Athena. This whole time I've been watching, and I realized something. What's that? The way you cornered O'Reilly and now Miss Karen herself. You did it all despite your anxiety. You did it all for me and Trucy. Mr. Wright. I've been where you are right now too many times to count. Feeling alone and afraid. But a certain someone always had my back when I needed it most. Certain someone? What does he mean? And that certain someone had a hell of a lot worse than me. I won't let you fight this battle alone, no matter how much I'm struggling. I won't make that mistake again.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
The trial isn't over yet, Your Honor. The defense has one last witness to call. One person who needs to get his act together.
Well, Miss Sykes, who is your next witness?
My next witness? Does he mean... This is the person the defendant calls to the stand. It's time to bring him back. Your Honor, the defense calls Phoenix Wright. Aceton. I thought you were pleading silence. Not anymore. I'm ready to tell the court everything I know.
I see. You may take the stand, Mr. Wright. Best of luck.
You just saved my butt. This heart is full of pain. Forcing your biggest smile at the hardest time. Nothing like some fortune cookie wisdom, huh? And now it's my turn, Mr. Wright. To save you. What I remember. Emotional overload. Oh no! The mood matrix is an overload! I know he wants to help, but his mind is all scrambled. I said before I really like the mood matrix music. This version also really good for a different reason. The other one's more calm and focused. This one, you're right at the verge of the truth. It's very panicky and it's very well composed. I know he wants to help, but his mind is all scrambled. If he's going to give accurate testimony, I need to figure out what's making him so distressed. I can use the clues he offers to present the evidence that explains his distress. Okay, Mr. Wright. Athena Sykes is on the case. Your Honor, before Mr. Wright can testify, I need to perform an emergency therapy session.
Objection!
Your Honor, I object. You've already prolonged this trial enough. The evidence is clear. Unless there's a new testimony, I won't stand for any more therapy. Your Honor, he's my witness, and the defense must perform an emergency therapy session.
Objection overruled, Mr. Justice. If Miss Sykes can help Mr. Wright testify more accurately, then I want her to do so.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's therapy time, these snatches. Oh, I forgot to say on the robot voice. It's therapy time, biznatches. I don't really recall what happened. We were playing poker, but something went wrong. Can't remember exactly. I think everything went dark. It's all just so blurry. He's really struggling. I know. I need to try and calm him down. Something must be causing him distress. Maybe you can clarify something for him? Yeah, maybe. Just hang in there, Mr. Wright. Everything went dark. Well, we know why that happened, don't we? Surprise. Mr. Wright, I have an idea why you might be experiencing such shock. Yeah? You said that something happened. Sudden darkness. Earlier today, when cross-examining Oleg O'Reilly, we established the candle was extinguished. That's right. I think I remember. That's when the Chief Justice, when he stood up. Excelente.
I'm glad Miss Sykes' therapy could clarify things, Mr. Wright. Do you think you can testify about what happened?
I think so, Your Honor. Still feeling lots of fear, but I can manage that during cross-examination. If I can find any evidence to contradict what he's saying, then maybe I can get to the bottom of his fear. Let's do this. We're going to leave it there for today. Thanks very much for watching. And remember, if you've got any questions about this case, any or web turnabouts, I'll answer them later. You can leave them in any comment section. Ace Attorney Online itself, with the process of making a case, anything at all, really, then I'll answer it in the next video. But thanks and goodbye.